vlog. We have a fun little video coming for you today. We are heading into Boston tonight to go to a museum that is themed to the Titanic, which is fascinating and very cool. I feel like we're gonna learn a lot. I love the movie.
It'll be really interesting.
Yeah, we've seen some videos, we've seen some like TikToks. I've seen, I know one person that actually went and they seem to really enjoy it. So we're really excited. We're gonna Uber into the city, go to the museum. I don't know how long it's gonna take for us to like walk around and stuff, but
I think the website said it'd take like roughly 90 minutes.
What, really? Oh, that's fun. We actually went to sort of an exhibit sort of like this a few months ago, back in October, and it was Harry Potter themed, and it just blew our minds. We absolutely had like the best time ever. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you go watch it, because that was such a cool experience. And I feel like this is sort of gonna be kind of the same thing, because that was like a pop-up Harry Potter exhibit for a few months, and this is sort of like the same thing, but yeah, Titanic themed. So it looks really cool. Like the grand staircase in the Titanic, the pictures and videos I've seen of like the museum, it looks like legit. I don't know how they did it, but it looks really, really cool.
I don't know much about it, but I'm very excited.
Oh my god. Obviously we'll be bringing you guys along and showing you all of this stuff, but after the Titanic exhibit museum thing, we're gonna go stay in Boston and hopefully get some dinner. Food. Yeah, maybe in the North End. I don't know, we're just gonna kind of go with the flow, see what we want to do. But I love like learning about this kind of stuff. I was saying earlier, like I'm not a history nerd or anything, but like I don't know why this stuff fascinates me. I don't know. It just, I have no explanation why. I think it's not cool, because you know,
it is cool.
I mean, yeah, it's not cool what the people went through, but it's just, do you know what I mean?
Oh, yes, that's what you're talking
about. Yeah, I'm saying like, that's like people who like,
about,
or
like,
World
history,
War.
Like, the history's cool.
Oh, the history is so cool. Event, yeah. No, I'm saying, but it's weird to call like an event like that cool. Like how people love like learning about the wars.
It's interesting or fascinating.
Yes, that's how, yes, there we go. But yeah, we're gonna head in, we're gonna Uber, it shouldn't take too long, so very excited. This is probably just gonna be a vlog for the day, and then it might be a little bit of a shorter one depending on how much clips we get. But I definitely want to like bring you guys along and really like show you guys what it's all about. So let's go into Boston and have a fun little Boston date night. So
yeah,
let's go. Oh, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe too, because we have some really fun things coming up in 2025 as a whole, but we have a really exciting trip coming up in February. We're going to Curacao. If you are new to the channel, you don't know that, but we are very, very excited. We've never been before, so I'm feeling very giddy for that trip. So those videos would be really cool. So let's go into Boston for a Titanic museum night. Let's go. All right, we are here in Boston. It is located at the Saunders, is that how you say it, Saunders? Saunders Castle at Park Plaza, and my goodness, the building alone is gorgeous. So I think the entrance is gonna be over here somewhere, so we're gonna head in and obviously bring you guys in. I'm so excited. I again have seen pictures and stuff, and I'm just, the closer we get to it, oh, that's a duck boat. Welcome to Boston. What? Oh, you're right. I took a very quick look. Well, that's not a duck boat, but there's buses like that all around Boston. All right, let's head on in. Okay, we're coming up on the entrance and it's so cool already. Oh my gosh, okay. Are you ready? Let's board the Titanic. They just scanned our tickets, but look, we get like boarding passes to go on into the exhibit. It's so cool. Do you get a different person? My pass, mine's Mr. David John Barton.
Yes, I'm Mrs. Stephen Holt.
That's so cool. So we get like our own kind of not itinerary, but almost like, wait, turn around, look at it. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, the first artifact we have here is one of the bells that was on the actual Titanic, and it's so cool because it said that these objects were conserved and respectfully recovered. So I'm so excited to see all the cool artifacts that we'll see that was actually on the Titanic. These are so cool. I don't know how to say that, bollards or something, but basically these were on the ship, and then when it sank, it broke off, and they were later discovered by, you know, people who were looking for artifacts of the Titanic, and it was recovered at the bottom of the ocean. That is really, really cool. It's huge. Okay, this is the stuff that I find like really fascinating. So this was a leather satchel, and that was a luggage tag that they found as well. That is so cool. Like you can see, it's so cool you can see how like rugged and rusted it is.
Grandpa's a speaker.
That's sick. They've also got a cool model of the Titanic too, and it's so cool because there's like the little people on the ship. That is so cute, the little tiny figurines. Oh, and these are the lifeboats. The deck down here. That's so cool. Guys, count how many times I'm gonna say this is cool in this video, because I'm gonna say it about 100 million times. That's sick. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at these. Wait, this must be like how the hallways were on the ship. That is so cool. I want to get a picture of this, Zach. Hold on. All right, now we're in where the grand staircase is. It is beautiful. Look at the ceiling. It's decorated for the holidays too. So beautiful. We've been reading about a bunch of different people who actually were on the Titanic, and it's so fascinating because, like, for example, like this lady right here, Sir Cosmo Edmund and Lady Duff Gordon, she wrote in her journals that, you know, the Titanic's modern conveniences made her feel completely at ease. So it's just fascinating that, like, this boat was so, you know, extravagant for the day and age, yet it still stank. This case here has some glasses that were recovered with their leather carrying case. You know, it fascinates me how some of this actually survived the bottom of the ocean, but like those playing cards, there's like hairbrushes and everything over there, which is crazy to me. Little glass things that somehow survived the bottom of the ocean. I don't know, it's just so fascinating. Very cool. This one's so cool too. You've got some buttons, cufflinks, a hairbrush, a little clay doll shoe. Some more artifacts too. A light globe. And here you've got some different tiling that you would have seen on the different classes. So to the left here, it's the first class, middle, second class, and I think this one, yeah, third class floor. It's fascinating to see that though, and how they recovered all of this stuff. And we've got some US currency and some dollars in here too that they recovered. The coins look very clean. The actual money paper, or paper money I should say, definitely very not clean, but still really, really cool that they were able to recover this from the shipwreck. Oh my gosh, and then they actually have here an example of a type of toilet you would have seen on the actual ship. That's crazy. It says a third class toilet. Dozens of toilets for third class passengers because immigrants have never seen a toilet before. Interesting. That's an actual toilet.
Mm-hmm. So the poo stains.
No, Zachary, no, that's just rust. Don't be like that. This is so cool too. They have, is this the first class room, Zach? This definitely is first class. This is what a first class room would look like on the boat too. Wow. Stunning. It just amazes me too, like how different the fashion was and just like how different everything was. Yeah. Elegant, that's the word. So, how much was it back then, did it say?
It says it on there. 4,000.
The cost of a first class ticket on the Titanic to New York was $2,500, approximately $57,000 today. That's insane. So like that's an example of what it would look like over here. Like I just showed you guys, but that's crazy. The two most luxurious suites on B deck, however, were a staggering $4,500, around $103,000 today. Jeez. They also have some cups, soup bowls, any of the serving dishes that you'd see on the boat as well. A little sauce, a first class creamer bottle. That's actually really cute. A lot of this stuff is like I would buy those plates to have, and it's just, it looks so vintage, which obviously it is, but like I would buy that type of stuff to put in like my home, but like it's so outdated, but it's so beautiful. This painting here or picture is an example of some sort of like gym workout gear that you would find back then. It's just crazy how things have evolved to now and how like detailed and just different everything is. We've got some buttons, a pocket watch, a gold locket and chain that is so beautiful. And then over here too, we've got some tie pins, a bow tie, and some cufflinks. Beautiful. I love the green color on those. All right. We are in the third class room section now, and this is what the third class rooms typically looked like. So as you can tell from the difference between the other one we saw from first class to this type of room, definitely a lot less space and definitely a lot of less things in the room. So like no chairs, no desk, nothing like that. But yeah, sleeper for 4. Ships ran very differently than they do nowadays. They ran on coal back then, and this is sort of what it looked like. And it says here that Titanic's hardest work was done in the boiler room. So those people put in a lot of effort to keep the boat running, but it's so cool. I do remember that from a big part of the movie. They would show them how long and how quick they had to move to put all the coal into the boilers. Non-stop work. They probably got paid barely nothing too. This here says too that most people didn't actually die from drowning, from sinking the ship, but it actually was from hypothermia because the water was so cold that they just couldn't take the cold. It says to touch the iceberg. Is it cold?
Yes.
Wait, really? Is this how cold the water's supposed to be?
No, it's
oh my god.
Colder.
Oh my gosh, that's actually ice. It looks like plastic, honestly, from a distance, but that's the water would have been colder than that?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. I'm good.
The saltwater ocean was colder that night than the freshwater iceberg before you.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear us very well because there's like something going on, probably something to keep the water cold. The saltwater ocean was actually colder that night than the freshwater iceberg that we just touched, which is insane to me. That was so cold. This sign here says with the 700 odd survivors of that night. And it seems like there was another ship called Carpathia, I don't know how to say it, but they are the ones that kind of ran over to the Titanic to save the people aboard. Yeah, they rescued them, and it's just really cool. I mean, that water over there, I can't even explain to you how cold it is. It literally felt like, I mean, that's ice.
It's freezing.
Yeah, it was freezing, and I can't even imagine like your body just like being submerged in water that's even colder than that. I don't know. It's fascinating, but I didn't realize 700 people survived. I thought it was way less than that, but anyway, that's still a lot of people.
Tell me like 20.
I thought it was 27 or something. Anyway, well, 700. I'm glad I was wrong, but 700 people survived. About. Wait, look at this little elephant pendant. Yeah, it looks like, I don't think there's a clock in there, but it looks like there was supposed to be a gem or something on top, but it's a little elephant pendant. Wait, that's so sad. It's so old. That's so crazy, though. Okay, this is probably one of the coolest things we've seen. Okay, take a look at the stock pot here. Not that one, this one. And look, it's the actual picture of it at the ocean. I know, right? So they definitely recovered. Oh my gosh, it's all like that too. Look, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's an armrest or deck bench? Deck bench? Yeah, deck bench armrest. And that's that under the ocean. And then over there, a bunch of the broken plates that they also found at the bottom. Look at how that like landed at the bottom of the ocean though. It's so crazy.
You see the basin?
Yeah.
Because the bacteria in the ocean.
Oh yeah.
The Titanic will be gone like 10 to 20.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they're saying that they need to get all of the artifacts as soon as possible because with all the bacteria and chemicals down there, it could be gone. So they are trying to get everything they can from the actual shipwreck as much as they can before it goes away and disintegrates basically. And this here is an example of a type of submarine that goes down to get some of the artifacts. And just take a look at the Titanic down below anyway. It's just, I could never go in one of these, but there are people who, you know, love to do it, so I'm gonna leave it to them. But yeah, this is so cool. And just crazy that we can create technology like that just, I don't know, blows my mind. What is this supposed to be?
I think it's just a piece of the outside of the boat.
Oh, well, it says you can touch it. My fingers are kind of small, but I was able to touch it over here. That's so cool. You're touching part of the Titanic. Yeah? Oh, right here?
On the starboard side of the ship between C and D decks.
It's a vessel holes. Anyway, that's really cool. That is so cool. That we just touched part of the Titanic. We have seen a lot about this Lady Ida Strauss throughout the exhibit, but this quote here has me crying. It says, "I will not be separated from my husband as we have lived, so we will die together." And this is kind of a bunch of people over here who were taken onto the lifeboats and who did survive. I don't know if she survived without her husband. I have a feeling that she did, but anyway, that quote is so sad. It just puts into perspective, like that lady was separated from her baby. They both lived. She was 12 years old. It's just crazy, you know, what these people had to go through. Especially the ones that survived, obviously, because they had to live with the trauma that you know, they experienced while experiencing this type of thing. Wait, this is also so sad. I remember seeing this in the movie, but they had the ship's orchestra on the boat deck ordering them to play music to maintain the calmness amongst everyone, because obviously during the sinking it was chaos and people were terrified, but they had the orchestra playing in hopes that it would help calm the passengers down. But none of the Titanic musicians will survive. That's awful. We have got a towel here and a Boston postcard. That towel, I thought it was a rug because it looks like there's a pattern on it, but it's just a towel that clearly has rusted and gotten disgusting over the years. But that's insane that that type of thing survived. Well, this is fascinating. This man named Adolf Saalfeld was a perfume maker, and look at the perfume little bottles that survived. Labels and bottles, or vials I should say. That's unbelievable. Each glass vial contained 1 scent, which was written on the label attached to the vial. The glass was encased in a metal cylinder, which then carefully stored in a specialized leather case. There's a fragment of a leather case back there, but those are little perfume bottles. How cool is that, Zach?
It's very cool.
We have got some clothing pieces over here too, which is so cool. This was the Prince of Wales vests and pants. That's so crazy. Look at the gloves. And I don't know what that, oh, it's a collar. The gloves have seen better days. It's just so cool that these were actually on passengers of the boat. You can see here too all of the passengers that survived the Titanic, and all of them that, you know, lost their lives. At the top you can see the ones that were survived, and the ones on the bottom were all the lives that were lost. It's interesting though, because you can see how many more first class passengers versus like the crew, or second class versus third class. Like look how long the third class and the crew lives were lost.
Basically half of the people in the parish were crew, which makes sense because they were those two were all closest to the bottom, and
yeah,
especially the crew.
That's so true. I don't know if you just heard Zach from what he said, but more than like half basically of the people who died were just from the crew and the third class passengers alone. So it's just crazy. Devastating though.
Yeah, like more than half of all first class passengers survived.
Yeah, more than half of them. And I would say it's about 50-50 for the second class.
By how many crew survives? I know there's like more crew than
That's true.
Else. 209 crews still surviving.
That's so true. Okay, over there too, there's these little kiosk things where you scan your boarding pass, and we're very curious as to what's actually going to happen with them. Maybe they're assigned people that survived or didn't survive. What do you think?
I have a feeling my people
didn't survive.
Although I could just look at the wall.
Oh yeah, let's see if we can find them on the wall. Let's try. Okay, I am traveling alone and I am traveling on third class. Zach is on second class, and it says that you were traveling with your husband. We so should have just switched, but I'm interested. He was traveling to Rochester, New York, where he had a job working for a Kodak company. Why did yours travel?
There was an illness. We went to England for an illness in the family. Now we're coming back.
Oh, that's awful. Well, anyway, let's go see if we can find them on the wall here. Okay, apparently Zach survived and I died, so. Alright, let's scan our boarding passes. Where do you scan? This side?
Yeah, the QR.
David John Barton. He didn't make it to his new job.
Very interesting. His
body, if recovered, was never, yeah, mine, sorry, respect to David John Barton, but was not very, he was a victim.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay, scan yours. There's no picture. There was a picture of my guy, though.
He took some wraps, went to investigate where really her bedclothes.
In an interview, she described the Titanic sinking, but makes not mention of her husband, who died. She returned to Cornwall. She remarried. She died in 1960. She's buried in the UK. Yours was interesting. I want to show you guys what mine looked like, though. Do I need my own necklace, like the movie, Rose? Imagine if I, like, that is some bling. I mean, to each its own, but it is a very aggressive bling. Yeah, we're in the gift shop now. It's kind of interesting, the kind of merch that you can buy with the Titanic on it, like an umbrella.
I don't want to buy merch about a suit.
Like baby clothes, I'm just interesting. Like, I'm interested if people actually are buying that. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but huh?
There's no way people are buying stuff.
We are done with the exhibit now. We are hungry, so we're gonna head to the north end. We did get reservations for Trattoria Al Pino in the north end for 5:15. It's so good, we love it there. So we're gonna take the train, head over to the north end. We'll take you along. That was so cool. I guess we can give you guys a little bit more details later, but so cool. I would highly, highly recommend if you guys are in the Boston area. If you're visiting, it just was so cool. If you're like a history buff or just, you know, enjoy the Titanic, definitely come. The north end. We are back home from dinner. We stopped in a bakery in the north end called Modern Pastry. There's a few down in Boston in the north end area that are pretty good. There is Bova's, Modern, and Mike's Pastry, and we just happened to go to Modern. I got a red velvet cupcake and it looks so good. It says Modern. Oh, I thought you spit it. I was like, wait. And then you got a peanut butter.
Mine's like a peanut butter chocolate. Ooh, I didn't realize there's a Reese's cup in the top. This is huge.
That's a nightmare for me.
I'm wearing a white shirt. I'm gonna get this all over myself.
I don't like chocolate, and peanut butter upsets my belly. So that's actually a nightmare for me. We're gonna try this, and then we'll actually, do you want to talk about the Titanic exhibit first?
No, I already took off the wrapper.
I didn't. Hold on.
So I'm committed to eating.
All right, fine. You bite it first. Well, actually, we gotta cheers. I'm gonna get peanut butter on me.
I'm gonna get peanut butter on you.
Do you see the bite that I got?
Oh my! Mine's so good. There you go. That's a real bite.
I mean, it's delicious, but I'm not hungry.
All right. Well, then we'll save it.
That's good. The thing about me is I love red velvet anything, so this was the only thing that really caught my eye. And the bakery, I don't really love pastries, so.
You didn't even really want to get it. I had to talk you into it.
I know, I didn't really want to get it.
She kept telling me, but I want cake. And I'm like, have the cupcake. And she kept going, no, but it's not cake.
Yeah, like if there was a red velvet cake slice, I would have been more inclined to get it, but this is good. We ate so much when we were at the restaurant that I just can't. This is a later when I'm not super full. While he's putting away the cupcakes, let's chat about the Titanic experience because it was so cool. I tried to get as many clips as I could. I felt like it was a little bit trickier than the Harry Potter exhibit because everything in the Harry Potter sort of thing was a little bit more lively, upbeat. This was more of a museum where people were really...
It felt more quiet.
Yes, it was like people were really focused on reading. It was so cool though. We were talking over dinner kind of what our favorite parts of the exhibit was. My favorite part of the exhibit was like the iceberg room. Whoa. Neighbors making big noises. My favorite part was like the iceberg room where you got to like touch the iceberg and see how cold it was, and the fact that that iceberg, even though it was freezing cold, was actually like warmer than the temperature of the water when people actually were in the water. It just mind boggles me. I also really loved seeing like all the artifacts, but I think the coolest thing was for me was the people, like people's clothes or like people's like button cuffs, or like there was jewelry too. Like that was so cool to me because that came off of people who were on the Titanic. I also didn't realize that many people survived, which is obviously like an amazing thing.
A nice surprise, a nice surprise.
A nice surprise, yes. I for real thought it was like 27 or 23 people survived the Titanic. I don't know where I got that number, but it turns out it was like about 700 people. But it was so cool. And then another cool thing was that like when you walked in and they scanned your ticket, you got like a boarding pass to the Titanic, and you were assigned a person who was on the Titanic, whether they were deceased or they survived the Titanic. And it was pretty cool because we got someone who did pass, and then we got someone who did survive. So
that was me.
We got two ends of the spectrum there. So that was cool to like kind of see, you know, two different sides. And then we also, what was the other room that we said we really loved?
It was that room where you could scan the like the boarding pass, and they had the wall basically of everyone's names who's on the Titanic broken up by first class, second class, third class, and crew. and then who survived and who did not.
I also think it was really cool, like, seeing the difference between the classes, because there was a bunch of, like, I did show one of them where there was like the different tiles in the bathroom of the 3 different classes. So it showed like the 3rd class bathroom tile versus like the 1st class bathroom tile. And it was interesting to see like the little differences between them, and just like the numbers of people who passed in each versus the numbers who survived. Like almost like they prioritized the upper class, which back then, like, yeah, that's just how it was. But it just was so fascinating. It was so cool. My dad is a huge Titanic like history buff, so he would love that. I actually got him, oh, I'll show you guys. They had a little gift shop at the end. I think we showed you a little bit, kind of, when I was joking about the rose from the movie, her necklace, but there was a lot of different cool artifacts. This one is the Daily Mirror, which it's a replica. Obviously it's not the original, but it's the replica of just the Daily Mail, I guess.
It's an English newspaper.
Oh, that's so cool. Of basically like right after the Titanic happened, the mail that went out to everyone, like the newspaper of it sinking. And then I also got my dad this little coaster here, which is cool. It was interesting though, like the different merch they had for like.
Strange to have merch for the Titanic.
I think like this stuff is cool.
This makes sense.
Like this.
There was like
cool.
Just t-shirts that said like Titanic.
Yeah, which the t-shirts and stuff were like, I could understand that, but I guess like an umbrella or like there was like baby clothes.
Baby clothes.
That was definitely surprising. But I think it just was totally worth it. It was $42 a person to kind of walk around. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes. And he pretty much read every sign that was in there, and I tried to too. It just was a lot of reading for me.
They had a audio tour, so I would read everything out.
Yeah.
But that was like an extra like $10.
We saw a lot of older folks doing that just because there was a lot of reading, and I figure like, you know, reading classes and, you know, all that kind of stuff can be a little bit tricky when you're walking around a museum with a lot of words, but it was so cool. Another thing that we learned about too towards the end, there was like this almost like memorial, not a memorial, but like a big sign about one of the super fans / super researchers for the Titanic. He was like 74.
He was the one that did almost all of the recovery of the artifacts from the Titanic shipwreck.
Yeah, and he passed last year, and it was interesting. Zach actually put the 2 and 2 together, that last year when they had that submarine, it was called Titan, the little submarine Titan that went out to go look at the Titanic. It had like less than 10 people on it. I remember seeing it all over the news because I was like, never in a million years would I ever go in a submarine. But he actually was the one who was like kind of taking those people down to go see the Titanic. So it's just interesting. Like, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was really fascinating. And I just think the coolest part was seeing like actual artifacts from the ship. The thing that actually got me, like, oh my God, was really cool was...
The toilet?
The toilet? No. That actually, I'm sure it was used, which was wild that it was there. But I'm sure they just take everything they possibly can from the shipwreck because it's just so cool. But there was like the actual pots and like the armrests and plates that they had pictures from like the submarine or like some sort of device that went down in the ocean. Took pictures of those things like in the water, and then like you saw them right in front of you. So it was just really cool to like, I don't know, it's so far down in the ocean and just my brain has a hard time, like, I don't know, it's just really cool. So I would highly recommend it if you're visiting Boston or if you live in the area. Just a fun little thing to do. 2 hours of your day, probably maximum, just to go walk around and see that. It was really cool. We saw kids there and we saw like older folks. So big range of people. So it was a really good time. Sorry we just rambled for a long time, but I just feel like it was definitely worth the experience, and we were really glad. The grand staircase was beautiful, which we also, I swear to God, there was a proposal happening because
everyone started clapping.
Yes. We walked out of the room and we were reading about the toilet. We were reading about the toilet, and then all of a sudden we heard everyone going, woo, like clapping, and we're like, did someone just get proposed to on the staircase? Which, again, if you're a super fan of the Titanic, that's a really cool place to do it. But yeah, it was so much fun. I think we definitely got a lot of clips for just the whole video in general, but dinner was really good too. And yeah, it was just a really good day, really good night. So yeah. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're not new here, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, we will see you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.